The famous Iranian king Bahram Thief was known for his bravery and wisdom. He was a powerful ruler, but his real strength lay in his justice. Bahram Thief had a habit that is found in very few kings. He would often wear simple clothes, hide his face, and roam the streets and bazaars of the city in the dark of night to learn about the conditions of his subjects. He was eager to know how his decisions were affecting the people and whether his ministers or agents were oppressing them. Bahram Thief's real name was Bahram, but he would often disguise himself in simple clothes and secretly go out to learn about the conditions of his subjects. Seeing this habit of his, people began to call him Bahram Thief out of love and surprise, because even as a king, he would quietly roam the streets like a thief.
Like, share, comment, and subscribe.
One night, when the moon was half hidden and half shining in the sky, Bahram Thief took off his precious royal robes, put on simple clothes, and went out into the quiet streets of the city. With him was only his trusted slave Nasir, who would stand by him in every danger. The two of them were heading towards the city market when a shout was heard from the corner of a deserted street. Bahram Thief signaled Nasir to stop and silently started moving in the direction of the sound. In the darkness, two men were pushing each other and arguing loudly. "This necklace is mine," shouted one man who seemed to be a wealthy merchant. "No, it is mine. You are lying," said the other, who was dressed as a poor peasant. Between the two of them was a very valuable and beautiful necklace, on which precious gems were attached and glittered in the faint moonlight. A small crowd of people had also gathered there, but no one could understand who was telling the truth. Bahram Thief listened carefully to the whole matter. He whispered in Nasir's ear, "This matter should be taken before the judge, only then will the truth come out." The two quarrelling men were brought before the judge's court, and there a verdict was delivered that surprised everyone. Despite the darkness of the night, the lights were on in the Qazi's court, because the gates of justice are not bound by time. Qazi Abdul Hakeem was a wise and just man, famous for his intelligence and impartial decisions. When Bahram Thief, Nasir, and the two quarrelling men arrived at the court, the Qazi was seated on his special chair, and his eyes had the dignity and depth that is found only in true judges. Both men were presented before the Qazi. One was a wealthy merchant, Jamal, and the other was a poor farmer, Rafiq. Jamal stood in expensive clothes and a proud manner, while Rafiq's face was lined with poverty, and the shadows of truth were visible on his face. The Qazi patiently listened to the stories of both. Jamal said, "This necklace is a sign of my late father, which I had picked up today but fell somewhere on the way. This farmer is picking it up and calling it his own." Rafiq immediately refused. "No, it is mine or a part of my destiny." The judge looked at both of their faces carefully, as if he was reading the depths of their hearts more than their words. Silence fell in the court. Everyone was waiting for this decision. Suddenly, the judge called for the necklace. He looked at the precious necklace carefully. Then, with a twinkle in his eyes, he said, "This necklace is very valuable, and it is not easy to decide on it. Therefore, I have decided that as a matter of justice, this necklace should be cut into 2 equal parts so that both of them get their share." Hearing this, a wave of surprise spread in the court. Everyone started looking at each other in surprise. But the most unexpected reaction was that of Rafiq. He immediately stepped forward. His eyes began to water, and he said in a trembling voice, "No, Your Majesty, please do not cut this necklace. Give this necklace to Jamal. I cannot bear to see this beautiful thing destroyed." Hearing this, a smile appeared on the face of Qazi Abdul Hakeem. He picked up the necklace and looked at Jamal, whose face was silent and cold. The judge said loudly, "Listen to my decision. This necklace belongs to Rafiq, because a true owner can never see his thing ruined." Hearing this, everyone was surprised, but no one doubted the wisdom of the judge. Bahram Thief was watching all this silently. his respect for the wisdom and justice of the judge growing even more. Judge Abdul Hakim's decision had surprised everyone in the court, but along with the surprise, the greatness of justice had also awakened in their hearts. Tears of gratitude began to shine in Rafiq's eyes, while the bitterness of defeat was evident on Jamal's face. Jamal left the court without saying anything, as if he already knew the end of his false story. Bahram Thief was watching all this silently, but a new wave of respect for the judge's wisdom surged in his heart. He came closer to the judge and looked at him with a deep look, then said, "O Judge Abdul Hakim, you have demonstrated perfect insight. I have seen many judges, but my heart was happy to hear your decision." The judge smiled and replied, "The standard of justice is not wealth or status, but truth and the depth of the heart. He who reads the language of the heart never makes a wrong decision." Hearing this, Bahram Thief remained silent for a moment, then slowly removed the top layer of his simple clothing and revealed his true face to everyone. The court was suddenly silent, and people began to look in surprise because no ordinary person was standing before them, but King Bahram Thief himself. Qazi Abdul Hakim showed neither fear nor humility. He stood with the same dignity as a true judge who, instead of bowing down before the king, remains true to the truth. Bahram Thief stepped forward and placed his hand on the Qazi's shoulder and said, "O Abdul Hakim, today you have taught me that justice is not just the duty of a king, but a sacred trust which resides in the hearts. You have proven that power does not come from the chair, but from the recognition of the truth." Then Bahram Thief offered the Qazi a reward, but the Qazi smiled and said, "Your Majesty, my greatest reward is that I stand by the truth with my conscience." Hearing these words, tears welled up in Bahram Thief's eyes. He hugged the judge and praised his justice and wisdom in front of the entire court. The story teaches that justice is not achieved by force, but by truth and wisdom, and a true heart never agrees to anyone's loss. Tell us in the comment box how you liked this story.